I am so excited to be here today with Andrew and Matthew and all of you fabulous people from the world of media. We're all looking forward to spring. So today it's going to be a lively conversation about what is now already one of my faves, the tomato candle, and the fabulous strawberry EDP. So thanks so much for inviting me to be here today. I want to say that it's our anniversary, Matthew and Andrew. You are 1-year members of the Fragrance Foundation, and we couldn't be any more proud than we are today. It's great
really
to see
happy to be part of it. Thank you.
Yep, thanks a lot.
And I think that makes
We're celebrating.
So let's get into the real scoop. And we want as much inside scoop today as you can possibly share. If you don't mind, I think both the strawberry candle, the tomato candle and the strawberry EDP are results of your inspiring garden up in Hudson. So could you share with us how what you've been harvesting turned into these two fabulous new scents or scent comebacks?
So I would say that we're not any longer new to gardening. We're both didn't grow up with gardens that we had, and Hudson was really just an incredible labor of love. And we planted everything under the sun, but there's always something particularly special about tomato season. You know, you have to wait till the end of the summer. It's very, very ephemeral. And then, of course, the bounty is it's a commodity you can't give away at certain points, at least to people upstate. But what we discovered about all the varieties of tomatoes, that there's a lot of work that goes into it. And so you get to the point that you're up to harvest. And one of the most interesting things were when you're staking the tomatoes and you're cutting them back, it leaves this residue on your hands, this beautiful green, earthy, tomato-like scent that is not what you originally think about when you think about a tomato. You think about the fruit. But in some ways, the unfloral of the tomato is really the incredible essence of it. And I think that was one of the great inspirations of how we came up with the tomato candle and the tomato scent.
I want to ask, it's an interesting term you've labeled your garden as the unflorals. So tell us what the unflorals means to you, as well as what the other term is for those that are not unflorals.
So early on, we had some success with some scents that we now term the vices. That started with rum, cannabis, and leather. In addition to that, we had always had or tried to incorporate these more traditional scents like rose, let's say, into the brand. And that never resonated because our customer thinks of us as being innovative and modern, and rose is too traditional and too classic. And so as we started to really garden and think about our brand and what the scents within our brand have always stood for, there were always these very neutral ideas. And as you look back historically at fragrance, rose 200 or 1,000 years ago was never about being masculine or feminine. It was about sort of this particular scent and treatment that people would use for whatever it was that they used it for. And we didn't interpret it by sex. And so the idea is, how do you sort of bring it back to that? And unfloral to us is really this idea of, yes, we grow things that are floral within our garden, but let's not focus on what makes them feminine or floral specifically, but all the facets about what this plant is, what it does, how it comes to and from apothecary and or perfumery, and how we think about things as men or women or couples.
You know, we tend to do things very differently. We are not following the lemmings off the cliff, and we think a little bit a lot creatively. And I think that idea of obsessing on the unfloral, which everyone had sort of passed by, was a really incredibly creative endeavor for us.
That really helps me. Last night was still cold in New York, and I had the rum candle lit. I can't wait for spring, and I'm hysterically in love with this tomato candle. And I do have to say, there have been quite a few tomato candles out there. You were, without question, the first to pull it right out of the garden, and we're really, it's come back. I have found that they're all very different. So let's talk a little about the ingredients, because what makes your candle, your tomato candle, so special are truly the ingredients. So if you don't mind sharing, because I love the smell of that fresh basil and the ivy and the mint leaves. So could you describe a little what the different ingredients are that make it so special?
Sure. So top notes, as you mentioned, basil, greens like ivy, lavender, mint. Mint is sort of a constant throughout our brand. It's something that lives in a lot of different products, whether they're natural and or synthetic perfumes, depending on the treatment item or the fragrance or the candle. Middle notes, tomato, mandarin, petitgrain, all three of those things, again, living between our treatment products and our fragrances, and then base notes of cedarwood and pepper. Again, things that live in a variety of different items within the brand. So it really is sort of taking all the things from our brand and putting it into one, and then obviously focusing on something that we love and are very passionate about, and that is growing tomatoes. And no better place to grow tomatoes than upstate New York in August.
Yeah, and I think that amalgamation of all those different olfactory experiences really taps in again to that greenness, that unexpected, I don't want to say earthy, but like this, it's a very fresh, crisp, unfloral green that makes it completely unique in the world of ever-expanding tomato candles.
Tell us about strawberry, because I know it's in the Discovery Kit along with some of its siblings, but let's talk again ingredients. It's a fave thing of mine, because the strawberry is unique and it's not super sweet. And like you said, it's not specifically male or female, it's for everyone. So tell me about that.
Yeah, let me just tell you a little bit about fragrance versus naturally scented skincare products, just really quickly. So we launched our brand with face, body, hair, so a head to toe idea of skincare, how to take care of yourself. Everything was naturally scented, leaving out things that could be potentially irritating, such as synthetic perfumes. We created fragrances and candles to complement that, to create a world for Malin+Goetz where there was this serious side of skincare and this playful side of fragrance. One of the things then, in terms of reinterpreting fragrance and making it modern, was taking some of the traditional apothecary notes that you'd find in skincare and reinterpreting them from a conceptual and or synthetic perspective as a perfume. Strawberry is sort of a culmination of all of that. It's also a reinterpretation of a very sort of young woman's idea of a scent into how a man could actually use this, or a man and a woman could share this particular product. So within that, then, there are a lot of notes that are consistent through the brand, whether they be on the skincare side or the fragrance side, and how we've interpreted them to make this scent complex and dynamic and really interesting and modern. So some of the things on the top of this particular scent are bergamot, strawberry, and pepper. Again, bergamot is something that you'll see in almost every single fragrance that we create. It's also a mainstay in our treatment products. It has been our body wash since the very first day that we've launched. It's also been the natural scent that's been in our body moisturizer since we launched our brand as well, because it is the least photosensitive of any citrus that's out there. So it lends itself easily to not burning the skin. So there are all these wonderful sort of physical properties to that particular ingredient. Middle notes of jasmine and greens, more woody greens. Again, green being sort of this neutrality within a lot of our products. And similarly, then the base notes of cedarwood, oak moss, and musk.
The interesting thing is when you experience strawberry, I think there's a tendency for your mind to think, oh, it's going to be very sweet and cloying and almost overly berry and vanilla-like. And when you smell our strawberry, it's, again, the exact opposite. There's a level of sophistication and unexpectedness that makes it just incredibly unique.
Yeah. This strawberry fragrance, I can say, because you know I have quite the collection here, is also extremely unique. And to me, it is sort of a perky positive. It reminds me, like you're saying, of all the fabulous skincare you have. Peppermint, that is such a theme in my Malin+Goetz skincare collection. So I get it. You are certainly a duo that were ahead of your time. The Fragrance Foundation has a #1 priority. It touches everything we do now, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. There are still some fragrances out there that are made just for women. There are still some that are made just for men, but universal or genderful or unisex, the old term, is really the way I think the future will be. And, you know, department stores had a men's department and a women's department. I think our future altogether in fragrance and candles is going to be just one place where you buy everything. So I'm really so proud to have met you finally. You're legends in your own time. And that we're going to have so much that we can do together. I know you're big supporters of the DEI pledge we have, and we have a hashtag Fragrance Forward TFF. And you're going to be with us every day on our journey, because it's our ambition, and we will not give up, to have the entire fragrance industry a reflection of the entire population, LGBTQIA+, disabled. I even think Harold is in a category that now is part of this.
Of course he is.
No, I mean, you're very inspiring, and you're so positivos. No question, Andrew and Matthew, you are stars at the Fragrance Foundation.